Simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is a type of sampling method where every individual in a population has an equal and known chance of being selected for the sample. Selections are made independently, meaning that the choice of one individual does not influence the chance of others being chosen. For example, to select a sample of 30 employees from a company of 300, you could assign each employee a unique number and then use a random number generator to pick 30 different numbers. The employees associated with these numbers constitute the simple random sample.
Systematic random sampling is a probability sampling method where researchers select members of a population at a regular interval determined in advance. This method relies on ordering the population in some way and then selecting every kth element, where k is the sampling interval. The starting point for selection within the first interval is chosen randomly. A factory produces bottles of juice on an assembly line. To ensure quality, they decide to systematically sample every 50th bottle produced. They randomly select a starting bottle from the first 50, say the 15th bottle. Then, they inspect the 15th, 65th, 115th, 165th, and so on bottle produced to check for defects. This ensures a regular and even distribution of sampled items across the entire production run.
Stratified random sampling. It is a type of probability sampling where a population is first divided into homogeneous subgroups called strata, and then a random sample is drawn from each stratum. The strata are formed based on shared characteristics or attributes of the population members. This method ensures that each subgroup is represented in the sample, increasing the precision and representativeness of the results, especially when there are subgroups within the population that may vary in the characteristics being studied. For example, a researcher wants to study the academic performance of high school students across a school district, ensuring representation from each grade level. To use stratified random sampling, the researcher would first divide the student population into strata based on grade level. For example, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. Then, they would take a simple random sample of students from each grade level. This ensures that the sample includes students from all grades, and that the performance differences across grades can be accurately assessed.
Cluster random sampling is a probability sampling technique where the entire population is divided into naturally occurring or predefined groups, known as clusters. Instead of sampling individuals directly, cluster sampling involves randomly selecting entire clusters, and then including all members within the selected clusters in the sample. This method is particularly useful when the population is geographically dispersed, or when creating a sampling frame of individuals is impractical or costly. Example: studying student performances across school districts. To assess the average reading scores of 5th graders in a large state, it would be impractical to randomly sample individual students from across all schools. Instead, researchers could use cluster sampling. They would first divide the state into school districts or clusters. Then, they would randomly select a number of school districts. Within each selected school district, all 5th graders, classes, or even all 5th grade students would be included in the sample. This significantly reduces the logistical challenges and costs of reaching students across the entire state.
Another type of non-probability sampling is the convenience sampling. It is a type of sampling that doesn't depend on chance and often used in research studies. This sampling techniques involves choosing people who are easy for the researcher to reach and get in touch with. Instead of picking people at a random from a certain population, convenience sampling involves picking the people who are easiest for the researcher to get information from. This accessibility can be due to geographical proximity, being available at specific time, or simply being willing to participate. Convenience sampling is also referred as accidental sampling, simply because participants are sampled merely because they happen to be in the right place at the right time. Let's take a look at this example. A company aiming to gather employee feedback on new policies could distribute questionnaires via company-wide email or post them on social media platforms. Alternatively, they could hand out printed surveys to employees in common areas like the break room or near the coffee machine. This method targets employees who are easily reachable through existing communication channels or physical locations with the workplace. This is an example of convenience sampling because the company is collecting employee feedback from individuals who are easily accessible rather than selecting participants randomly or systematically.
Snowball sampling is a non-probability sampling technique where existing study participants recruit future participants from among their acquaintances. This method is particularly useful when the population interest is hard to reach or identify, such as when studying rare traits, marginalized groups, or sensitive topics. It relies on the principle that individuals within this population know each other and can refer the researcher to other potential participants. The sample group appears to grow like a rolling snowball as each participant refers to more people within their network. It is also known as chain referral sampling or network sampling. Example: investigating rare disease communities. When studying individuals with rare diseases, it can be challenging to find a sufficient number of participants. Researchers start by conducting patient advocacy groups or online forums for specific rare diseases. Initial participants identified through these channels can then refer the researchers to other individuals they know with the same condition.
Quota sampling is a non-probability sampling technique that aims to create a sample that is representative of the population based on certain predetermined characteristics or quotas. Researchers first identify relevant population categories, like for example, age, gender, ethnicity, or income level, and then decide on the proportion of individuals to sample from each category. Unlike stratified random sampling, where individuals within each stratum are randomly selected, quota sampling uses non-random methods like convenience or judgment to fill these quotas. The goal is to ensure that the sample reflects the known proportions of these characteristics in the overall population, even though the selection within each quota is not random. Example: healthcare surveys on patient satisfaction. A hospital aiming to assess patient satisfaction might use quota sampling to ensure their survey sample includes a representative proportion of patients from different departments, example, cardiology, oncology, pediatrics, and age groups. They would establish quotas based on hospital records of patient demographics and department distribution. Then, they could conveniently approach patients in waiting rooms or after discharge, asking them to participate until each quota is filled.
Volunteer sampling is a non-probability sampling method where participants actively choose to participate in a study rather than being selected by the researcher. Individuals volunteer themselves to become part of the sample, often in response to a public advertisement, announcement, or call for participants. This method relies on the willingness of self-selection of individuals who are interested in the research topic or meet specific criteria outlined in the recruitment materials. It is also known as self-selected sampling. Examples: online surveys advertised on social media, A researcher studying public opinions on a social issue might post a survey link on social media platforms like Facebook or formerly Twitter. Individuals who see the post and choose to click the link and complete the survey are participating through volunteer sampling. The sample consists of those who are active in social media, saw the advertisement, and were motivated to respond.
I got so much fucking design on right now. Bring it down, nigga, come out, that 3 whole glass, I'm down with it. Bitches on the line.